So you've decided to do some aim training, hey? Don't know what to do? Don't worry, I'm here to hold your hand. So I'm basically designing this video for someone who, they've been on the forums, they've seen the words voltaic, VDIM, what's this? I want to get into aim training. And just basically a video that I wish I had when I first started, just to get everything sorted. So let's begin. Alright, these are the topics we're gonna cover in the video. I'm gonna put it down in the little chapters on the timeline, so hopefully you can just click and go to whatever you need. Alright, let's get into it. When you first jump into Kovaaks, you're gonna see a screen similar to this. What you want to do is straight away, straight to the settings. This gear up here. Boom. Alright, first up, we've got sensitivity. The cm per 360, all that means is how many centimeters are you moving your mouse to move 360 degrees. So doing a big old circle. You can, if you want, put your game of choice in there and go by that sensitivity, but I would recommend getting used to this, because this is what everyone talks in when they're talking about sensitivity. Visual theme. This is simply how you'll see the game. It'll be the color of the dots and the color of the scenario. You can change this manually by going into here, play around with this. I'm not going to do it here, not going to bore you. Main, I'll show you the difference. So got Clover Alternate. Let's go to Cloudy Marble. You can see it's changed and the dots have changed as well. Actually, I will just quickly jump into one thing here. You see this dot down here? That's what it looks like at the moment. If you want to change that, boom, settings are here. Body, change it to whatever color you want, whatever takes your fancy. So look, let's go yellow, confirm, and then roughness and metallicness, play around with it. See something you like, boom, that's how you do it, easy. Weapons, here, just turn it all off. I can't remember what the default is. As you can see, I've got everything off. Boom, just copy that, too easy. Video here, these are the settings I use. If you want the most out of your system, probably want to put it on full screen, but I'm always alt tabbing and doing all that. So I put it on full screen windowed for me, it's easier. For refresh rate, chuck it on your max. Mate, I have no idea what this thing does. All I know is you put it down and it looks full bad, full crap, but you get more frames. Let's have a look. Yep, let's play. See, look. No, terrible. Looks terrible. You chuck it up, the opposite thing happens, looks better, but yeah, your frames crash, so just keep it on 100 like me. There you go. Everything else here, yeah, I don't know, just copy it, copy what I got here. I've probably looked at some other video, copied their stuff, but this is where we've got the efficiency here. If you got one of those other graphics cards, Raiden, whatever, it might be a different setting, but if you got it in NVIDIA, this is what I got. Boom, just copy that, and we'll jump onto visuals. Oh no, we already did the visuals. Onto sound. Alright, so sound, the main things you want will be hit sounds. So you can change it here, too easy. The sounds are kind of like the themes. You can go add your own, which you look around, you can see some good sound packs to chuck in. What I'll give you a little tip here is, as you're putting them in, chuck them all in there, and then open up your Kovaaks, and then have the folder on the side, and do this. Go through, have a little listen, because there are going to be some that just blow your head off and that you hate. And when you're going to change it, you see how they automatically play? Every time you're going to blow your head off. And so, do what I did, go in, just get rid of the ones you don't like, and then you're going to have a nice time. Look at that, look at that. To change the sound and the themes, when you go into your Steam folder and the FPS aim trainer. If you don't know how to do this, you already know how to do this, you're a nerd just like me, but here's a common file path. Oh yeah, so the sounds, FPS aim trainer, boom, right here, sounds. Take the things you downloaded, boom, straight in. Delete all the ones that you hate, boom, too easy. Okay, now for the themes, go into saved, save games, Themes, boom, same thing. Too easy, too easy. Alright, so the kill confirm sounds, you're probably just going to need that for switching. You don't really need it for a lot of the targets, but yeah, mess around with it if you want. All it does is, yeah, when the target dies, it makes another sound. Pitch, just leave it for now for most of you. We'll come back there if we do like an advanced thing for when you want to do some advanced switching, but for now we'll leave it. Alright, UI colors, personally, I've just kept them all the same. You want to go on there, play around, go for it. HUD. As a beginner, again, do whatever you want. I do recommend health bars on and show text on health bar. If you get more advanced and you go for a voltaic rank, there are certain stats and clocks you need to put on to be approved. So just keep that in mind. If I do an advanced video, I'll maybe do that, go through that, but they're easy to find on the Voltaic website. And here, I think everything, you just do whatever. We're beginners here, we don't care. Alright, I want to talk about benchmarks for just a little second. So to look at the benchmarks, we just go up here, click, boom, benchmarks, and we are in. So there's heaps of different benchmarks, but the one the community focus on the most is the Voltaic benchmark. And we'll go take a look at the novice version of that. As all a benchmark is, it's made up of scenarios, as you can see here, and each scenario belongs to a category of aim training. So all you have to do is play a scenario, you'll get a score on that scenario, and you'll automatically be benchmark on that score. Now you can go and look at the benchmarks within the Kovaaks like I'm doing now, but there are a couple other ways to do it, which I'll mention later in the vid. Alrighty, so as I was saying before, there's a better way to look at your benchmarks. There's this website just here. What you want to do is grab your Steam ID, chuck it in here, boom, it will come up, Steam ID will be here, it'll come with all the different benchmarks. I've already favorited a couple, and so what you want to do is you go in there, and it's just going to show you everything that you've already done. Much easier to see than the app, I believe. And so yeah, you can play the scenarios from the website as well, but for whatever reason I find that it kind of glitches out my Kovaaks. So I'll show you a little different way to do it with the playlist system in Kovaaks itself. Here we can see Voltaic Novice Benchmarks for Season 5. All you do is press play and it'll come up here. So this is every single benchmark scenario. You go into one, play it. Oh, I don't want to play this one, escape. Choose another one. I'm going to show you how to bring this benchmark up into Kovaaks because it's not there automatically. So to get benchmarks up and different playlists up, Kovaaks will use playlist code. So you put the code in there and then it will pop up. So here we got, this is the code for the novice benchmark. So what you'd do is you'd copy this code, you put it in here, as soon as you press it, it'll automatically paste it, and then search, and I've already got it up here, so this is what happens. I'll do a quick little demonstration for you here now. Alright, so now that we've gone through how to add the playlists and what benchmarks are, you're probably wondering how to actually train. And ultimately, it is just up to you, whatever you find most enjoyable. You could just play the benchmarks perfectly fine, but the gold standard is in the community is something known as VDIM. It consists of 6 different days, and each day consists of one of the subcategories that we saw before. So for example, entry clicking here, it's going to have a whole bunch of scenarios which will train your aim for clicking. It's important to point out that each of the VDIM, they consist of the benchmarks themselves. So the first one here will have the 1 ball, 4 targets. So this is actually a benchmark. So you see, this is kind of like all the training leading up to that benchmark. You see each of the benchmarks will have 4 amounts to repeat. Personally, I don't do the whole thing for each recommended number because I feel like it just takes too long. It's perfectly fine to break these up throughout the day as well. You don't have to do it all at once. Yeah, the next benchmark here, you'll see, and finally down here. And so that goes for all of them. They're all clicking day 2, so you might do this on a Tuesday. Same deal. Benchmark here, training above. So obviously that's just me, the way I look at VDIM. There's a proper way to do it. Would you believe? I'm going to put a link down below, linking to the Kovaaks VDIM, so you can take a read there if you want. And oh yeah, also I'm going to put a bunch of these share codes down below, either in like a notepad file, or if it allows, I'll put it in the comments. Oh yeah, and so at this point I'm going to shout out to the main man who made all this. His name is LowGravity56. And if you get into the AIM community, you're going to see this name a lot. You're going to see it everywhere. I personally believe, just me personally, if something were to happen to this man, the AIM community will just fall over within about a day or two. 100%. I think the best way to describe Low Gravity would be, he's basically the Yoda of the AIM community. Now, he probably doesn't speak like Yoda, like, AIM train I must. But, yeah, he just knows it all. Like Yoda sees the Force, this bloke, Low Gravity, he sees AIM. He sees it everywhere. So yeah, a big shout out to LowGravity56. I'm going to put his socials down below. That will also link to a bunch of stuff you can read on aiming, such as that VDIM file I was talking about. Alright. Another benchmark I wanted to talk about was viscose's benchmark. I think that's how you say her name, viscose. Anyway, I'll just chuck it in here. Boom. Yeah, go check this one out. It's not as popular as the voltaic ones, but I've played it before, and it's a lot funner. It is a lot funner, and a lot of people will say that it's better training for games in general rather than purely testing your aim, if that makes sense. So yeah, go check that out, and also check out her YouTube. She's got some really good videos, and both on aim and games and all of that in general. It's just good quality stuff. And whilst I'm here shouting people out, definitely check out Matty OW. He's basically the chosen one of aiming. He's miles ahead of everyone else. He's also got a YouTube channel and some good info on there as well. So yeah, check Matty out. Alrighty, so now all that's done, I'm going to give you guys a few little aiming tips on some of the categories here. Basically just stuff that if I had to go through it all again, I would tell myself. So yeah, let's get into it. So here we have popcorns, which is dynamic clicking, and the tip I'd give myself back in the day would be move smoother and slower. Not necessarily slower, but you want to be smooth. This is all about target reading, really. So you want to see the targets, I'll show you. The targets come up and down, jump across. If I was to like flick hard and try to go for them, you see how it's harder for me to see each individual popcorn? Whereas if I'm just like being slow, it's really easy for me to see my next target. This is a common beginner tip that I'd give to people. So let's have a little go. Click, click, click. Alright, so the next category is static clicking, and we've got here one wall, 4 targets. Now static is easily my worst scenario, so if you want to learn static really well, one more shout out, a guy named Bardos. He's basically the godfather of static. I know there's like some quote out there about standing on the shoulders of giants. We're all standing on Bardos's shoulders, you know. So my number one tip for new people that I'd give back to myself would be learning tension control when it comes to static. A lot of people, they'll come into aim training and they'll want to get they're really focusing on that score. They want to, and so they just grip their mouse really hard, and by the end of it, they're shaking, they're tired, they can hardly move, and that's because they're just going for it. They're gripping too hard. So what you want to do is you want to flick, but the way you want to flick is you don't want to like hold it like a what are they called? Like an air hockey puck, you know, you like boom and you like smack it. You don't want to do that. You want to kind of do it more like you know the curling sport? You know how they kind of like when they push the whatever it's called, the big fucking thing on the ground. Kind of like that. You want to kind of do that with your flicks. So you want to like that way, so like you start off 10 stop kind of, but you want to use momentum to finish off the flick. And so that way, once you hit the target, because you're using momentum, you're not 10 stop. You're loose as a goose. So you can then flick again, 10 stop and flick again, doing the same thing. It's difficult to start with, but once you get there, you'll be so much better off. As well as when you're untensed, you're able to move in different directions easier than if you were tensed. So let's have a little go. Play. And yeah, so it's probably very hard to tell on the camera, but what I'm doing is using momentum to finish off the flick. So that way, I'm not getting tired at all. I could do this almost all day. But what I used to do, I used to die by the end of the scenario. Completely tensed out. Could not move. So it's super important, and you'll be much more efficient. So I'm not the best static player, but for tracking, the tip I'd give myself is to not overcorrect. So typically what happens with new people is the target will move to the left or right, and people will move the same way, but they'll go way too hard. What happens then is they try to correct it, and then by then the target's moved again. It's just like a big flick, 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 and what you want to do is just chill. It's going to be slow and smooth. Oh, it's going right? Yeah, I'll go right as well. Maybe you can pretend like you're like a really old person with like a shopping trolley, you know? Like, But yeah, if you slow down and just chill, you'll be better at tracking. I believe that's for like most tracking scenarios. There you go, you get the picture. Okay, for switching, I'm going to do speed switching. So the scenario here is the dot target switch. And what I tell myself is, it may sound silly, but you want to flick exactly onto the target. Sometimes in static, you want to like slightly under flick, but for this, you want to go straight onto the target, as well as you don't want to wait till the target's actually completely killed before you move. You want to learn how to do it like slightly before. That way, so as you're moving off, you're killing it as your crosshair is coming off and then onto the next. I'll do a little example here. Alright, one of my biggest tips, more important than all of that other stuff, is when you get into aim training, you see these benchmarks and you want to hit those specific numbers. Like, oh yeah, I'm a diamond complete, I'm a this or I'm a that. Don't try and chase the scores. If anything, just work on technique and effort. Like, the benchmarks are supposed to be a reflection of your skill. Let's say that like you went ham and managed to get an amazing static score because you just went for it and your technique was terrible, but you just lucked out. But you're never able to reproduce that properly. Did you really get any better? Like, you didn't get any better. You got the benchmark score, but your technique wasn't good. You're not going to be able to reproduce that in games, or, I mean, it counts for the scoreboard, yeah, but just remember what you're doing it for anyway. I think too many people are focused on score rather than what builds the score. Because, like, so many times you will see someone who's, like, super angry that they just missed a certain benchmark. And then, like, think to yourself, if someone who's really good, they could hit that benchmark all the time. So your overall goal is to improve the skill, so where like you're not really disappointed that you just missed that benchmark because you're so far above it, you're going to get it easy. Does that make sense? That's my biggest tip anyway. Alright, so for most of you that's probably the end of the video, but what I'm going to add at the end is just how to set up your Steam and your Discord and with Kovaaks as well as Voltaic, because that was a little bit confusing when I was going through it, so I'll do like a little guide at the end here. But if you're not interested in that, cheers for watching and I'll catch you later. Alrighty, so here we are at voltaic.gg. I'm going to assess your aim, sign in with your Discord, I'm sure you already have one. Sign in, there I am, me and my beautiful dot. Authorize. Alright, now we're connected our Discord to Voltaic. Or I'll go hit my profile, and we'll go to settings, and from here we want to log into Kovaaks. Should be a link just here. Alright, so once we're in Kovaaks, we're going to go hit this login button, and once you hit the login button, you're able to press register and you can sign in through your Steam account. And once you press that button, you'll be asked to fill in a bunch of details, and then eventually you'll get the success thing, just like this. Alright, after you've registered, you'll need to link your Discord to Kovaaks itself. Alright, now that you're registered, you'll be able to look at the leaderboards, you'll be able to apply for ranks on their Discord and all that good stuff. And yeah, I think that about covers a beginner setup. Alright, so I'll catch you guys.